everyone. Welcome. It's time for another interesting conversation on Africa Business Radio. And we have with us the CEO and founder of Yellow Card Financial. His name is Maurice. Now, Nigeria is an amazing place, especially when it comes to opportunities. And he and his company have started expanding its reach into African countries like Nigeria. So it's all about being a true crypto pioneer for Yellow Card. And the company has grown really, really quickly. Over 40,000 merchants. Is this true? 40,000 already?
So, we did have 40,000 merchants.
Wow.
That was actually before COVID.
Wow. Okay.
And, funny enough, when COVID hit and sort of the whole world shut down and, nobody really knew what was going on, especially from like a retail perspective.
Yeah.
We kind of looked at the numbers and realized, this is not what's driving the majority of our business, right? And so from then we started focusing more on the digital aspect, right? And on how do you digitally on and off ramp people from this ecosystem. And that has been the big focus really during the pandemic, right? And then now we're getting back into merchants, we're getting back into cash, right?
Okay.
We're getting back into, now that the world is just fully reopened and that, that's kind of becoming bigger and bigger again. We're starting to get back into that, but, definitely right now, I think what we're most proud of is the digital on and off ramps that we've been able to provide.
Amazing. So you need to go into that for us. You need to let us in to those little secrets. How are you able to pull it off and hold yourselves together, especially through the whole pandemic? And what are your expectations now that the bull run has begun?
Well, let's hope the bull run has begun. It's I think we're all in need of that, but. Yeah, it's, kind of to your earlier point, we didn't just expand into Nigeria, right? We started in Nigeria, right?
Okay.
The sort of long story short of, starting the company is, we were building something somewhat similar, but not that similar in the US.
Okay.
And then, met Minachi, who at the time was just some Nigerian guy I met on the internet. And
that doesn't sound comforting when you say it like that.
Yeah. I meet this Nigerian man on the internet and, took the first international flight of my life. I think I had been on a plane maybe 4 times in my life before starting the company.
Oh, wow.
And, took the first international flight of my life to Lagos, Nigeria, having never left the US before. And, to start a company with this guy I met on the internet. So, we are fully Nigerian, born and raised as a company, right? Right from the start. And then, we've been fortunate now to be able to expand outside of Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
So we're in 12 countries total, all in Africa. And Africa's the full focus, right? Is how do we build across the continent and make this technology accessible? And really that's how we've not just survived but been able to grow and thrive during the pandemic and during everything else going on. Is we started in Africa. We have a lot of great local representatives in each country that we work in. We have great teams on the ground and we listen to them, right? And that's really the sort of secret is, we have great people on the ground that know what they're doing and we listen to them. We don't try to get in their way and tell them, how things should be run in their country, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so, when we look at it sort of from a Pan-African perspective, that's really what it's been about.
I find it interesting that you should mention listening. Now, listening, you're going to hear all sorts of things, especially a lot of the doubt that's out there. Unfortunately, it's not the easiest place to do business, and that's putting it lightly, especially Nigeria. It's not the easiest place to even start a business or even keep it going for any certain amount of time. When you started listening, how were you able to push away all that doubt this is a huge investment. This is you, of course, as you just said, getting on a plane, coming to a country you've never been to before. How did you get over that huge risk and keep pushing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the bad but real answer is that I'm young, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, and so there was nobody to tell me not to do it. Right?
Oh no!
I figure if I'm gonna do something crazy, now's the time to do it. Right?
Okay.
If I was 35 with 2 kids, probably be a little bit harder to do it. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of how do you kind of come to terms with that risk?
Yeah.
You just don't think about it that much.
Okay. So as a Nigerian, I have a feeling maybe one of your partners or some of the Nigerian staff would have said, "Don't worry, God is on our side." They've gone all religious on you. But the truth is crypto is volatile. It's a huge volatile market. There's a lot of expectations. We can't really predict it. And I feel like there have to be some things put in place where we can educate people more. And I say we because I'm already feeling like a member of your staff right now. I feel like, you're going to throw me an employment letter one of these days because I'm really interested in the market. And I talk about it almost all the time. But that volatility of it, basing your entire business on a market that goes up and down like a yo-yo, it has to be something that investors found really hard to jump into. Now, I hear from a little birdie that something big happened recently. You want to let us into that?
Yeah, well, I mean, on the investor front, we just closed our Series A of 15 million from Valar, from Castle Island, Third Prime, Square, Coinbase, Polychain, Blockchain.com. So, so I mean, a fantastic syndicate, right? And yeah, I mean, I think to your point, crypto was extremely difficult to get investors behind a few years ago, right? Okay. And I mean, especially, when we were raising our seed round, so our seed round was 1.5 million.
Okay.
And when we were raising our seed round, I mean, it took us, man, like 2 years to pull it together, right? Wow. And that's because we're going around and first we're pitching crypto, right? Which at the time, especially, I mean, looking back like 2017, 2018, there weren't a ton of crypto VCs, right? There were some that existed already, but they didn't have the money that they do now. They weren't able to raise as big of funds as they are now, right? And also we were sort of going through like the crypto winter, right? Yeah. We were in a pretty big bear market at the time.
Okay.
And so, we're going there, we're pitching that we're going to build this exchange. And, of course, the crypto aspect is risky enough. And then you tell them that you're going to do it in Nigeria and you're going to do it in, in Kenya and you're going to do it in all these different countries that nobody else is doing it in that are, to your point, not exactly the most business friendly in the world.
Yeah.
It's just sort of a number of layers and hurdles to kind of overcome.
Yeah.
And so it took us a long time to get investors originally comfortable with the idea. And once we got that seed money in, we ran with it, right? And once we were able to show that it works, once we were able to show, hey, here's actual growth, here's actual traction, it made this round come together. Not that this round was easy to pull together, but it made this round significantly easier than the first one, right? Because we were able to show, there's actual traction and there's actual legs behind the industry.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think with crypto, people have a tendency to look at the volatility in the price, and associate it with volatility across the industry as a whole.
Okay.
Right. And what I would say is that the industry is bigger than the price of Bitcoin. The industry is bigger than the price of Ethereum. What matters more to us as a business than the price of Bitcoin at any given time is the 24-hour trade volume. How much Bitcoin is being traded across the market in 24 hours. And that number has continued to grow steadily over the last several years, right? I mean, it grow exponentially, right? And so, we went from, in 2018, I don't even think $1 trillion was traded across the entire market. And then, now the market will do $1 trillion a month, right?
Yeah.
And so, the market's growing extremely quickly. Billions and billions of dollars are moving every single day in terms of trading volume. And so what I would say is that I would encourage people to look at that number more closely when thinking about the industry as a whole than at just the price of Bitcoin or the price of any one asset.
Amazing. So I'm looking at an article on CoinDesk that came out, I think, earlier today, and it's talking about the Bitcoin rally holding its support above 52K. The next resistance was very close to the all-time high, just above the 62,000 mark. Everybody has high hopes for that. I have high hopes for that. Please, Jesus. I'm really looking forward to that happening. But can you give us a little insight into what you have observed really, truly influences the price going up and down? Is it really Tesla and Elon? Who is it? What is it that have you noted really influences the market? And how have you been able to, should I use the word manipulate that to your advantage?
I wish that we had the platform that Elon or somebody else does to be able to do things like that. But when it comes to the price itself, Bitcoin is the most open free market that you can name. Okay. Right? I don't think you can name an asset class or a type of asset or security or anything like that that is as open and free of a market as crypto. And so when it comes to the price of Bitcoin, it's so unique in that at any given time, at any given place in the world, anybody can trade Bitcoin, which affects the price. Right? And so because anybody, anywhere, at any time is able to trade, the price is going to be more volatile than, the stock market, right? The US stock market, for example, right? And so obviously has a very big platform and, is able to reach millions of people with his tweets and that kind of thing. When he tweets stuff about Bitcoin or Dogecoin or, whatever he's tweeting about today, the reason that stuff like that impacts the market is because if he sends that out and it gets just, 20,000 people selling Bitcoin, right? Well, that's 20,000 people that are putting their coins on the market on one side of the market, right?
Okay.
And so that's going to impact the price one way or the other, right? And it works the same when he says buy Dogecoin and 1 million people go out and try to buy Dogecoin at the same time, it's going to shoot the price up, right? Okay. And so it's a completely open free market. And, I think that the thing to keep in mind is that Elon does not have influence over the price of Bitcoin. Elon does have influence over people that hold Bitcoin. Okay. And anybody that holds Bitcoin has influence over the price of Bitcoin, right? Okay. Because it's such an open free market. And so that's really where stuff like that comes into play, right? Okay. Is that if you can convince people to buy or to sell, then you can impact the price.
So, that word convince, I'm going to take that word from you now and say, with your big news that you just announced, what sort of influence does that really have on Yellow Card as a brand and, of course, for your investors? And people like us that just registered today.
Well, thank you. In terms of the impact that it has for us, this is the largest funding round that an African crypto exchange has raised, right? That like an African B2C crypto exchange has raised. And so
I feel like I should ring a bell somewhere. Congratulations on that.
For us, really, what we see it as is we see that it puts us on the map as sort of the market leader for, crypto on the continent, right? And the other thing that we see this doing, just more broadly for the ecosystem is that, I think that this this funding round is really evidence that Africa is a massive player in the crypto market, right? And it's not just this. It's also, like Chainalysis, which is, the blockchain analytics firm, put out their top 20 countries in crypto, and 6 of them are in Africa.
Wow.
Right. And so, I think that anybody in the industry that's not talking about Africa is doing themselves and doing the industry as a whole a disservice, right? And I think that there's a tendency, especially in the West, to sort of just forget about Africa, especially in terms of financial power and like economic power that the continent has. I think that there's a lot of tendency to overlook the continent.
Okay.
And when it comes to this industry specifically, you're doing a disservice to the entire industry to overlook the continent, right? You cannot have a conversation about Africa or about crypto that does not involve Africa, that does not involve Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and some of these other countries that are doing so much in the industry. All right.
Okay, so so there are a lot of different ways to earn passive income from crypto. Some people are going into the P2P game. Some people are doing the proof of stake. What are you adding to your platform sometime soon to jump in on one of those means for us customers to earn passively?
Yeah. So, there's always a number of features that we're looking into, right? So staking is one of them that we've been exploring pretty heavily in terms of adding in. But, for us, it's always been about enabling traders, enabling, people that are running their business on crypto, right? People that are running businesses in the industry to be able to build on top of what we have, right? And on top of what we offer. And so that's always been the goal, is to be able to offer as seamless of an experience as possible, so that whether you're trying to build, your own crypto company and you need that liquidity, or whether, you're trying to supplement your income, or whether you're, trying to save money, right, against inflation, and that kind of thing, which, obviously, in countries like Nigeria has been, very rampant right now, right?
True.
And so, no matter what you're trying to do in the ecosystem, our goal has just always been to make it as seamless and easy as possible for you to get involved.
All right.
And so certainly, we're definitely looking into things like making it easier for cross-border transfers, right?
Okay. Making
it easier for, you're in Nigeria, you need to send money to somebody in Ghana, making it so much easier for you to do that with crypto.
Okay.
Right. And so, there are a number of things like that we're exploring and that we're going to continue to explore. But yeah, it's, for us, it's just about making it as easy as possible for anybody to be able to on-ramp into the ecosystem or off-ramp from it.
Fantastic. So hopefully sometime soon, cloud mining, lending, any of those? I like hearing those.
I think staking is definitely on the roadmap, right? So the ability for you to stake your tokens and earn interest on that is definitely on the roadmap.
Okay.
I think that the other thing that's on the roadmap for us is more cryptos, right? Because right now we offer Bitcoin, we offer Ethereum, and we offer Tether, right? Yeah. So we offer essentially the top 3.
Yeah.
And I would say that hopefully within this calendar year, we'll be able to add a few more. Definitely Q1 of next year. We'll be adding more cryptos and more options on that end.
Amen to that. Because, I have noted over time, different conversations, different types of people, all interested in crypto. It's all about how much they can do in one particular place, how many opportunities they can take advantage of on one particular app, and how much money they can make in one particular place. It's all about the money. It's always all about the numbers. But we have so much to talk about in terms of, I know there's never going to be enough time to talk about this. It's a huge world out there, but we are expecting amazing things from you. And I have to say, what you guys have achieved, really, kudos. Just so you know. All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. For those of you who are still tuned in, thank you so much for doing that. We are at Africa Biz Radio on Twitter, Africa Business Radio on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm at TT the Dynamite. Follow me if you have a few questions, and we'll see how we can get them answered with Chris Maurice. Thanks so much for joining us.